What's up, guys? Coming at you with this week's Q&A. I think we're a day early this week. I have changed my training schedule around. I was training on Saturday, Sunday, and then taking Monday, Tuesday off, and training Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday off. However, I've opted to train Saturday, Sunday, of course, take Monday off, and then train Tuesday and Wednesday, and then have Thursday and Friday off, so I can have 2 rest days going into the weekend, as the weekends are kind of my bigger training days, and I'd like to be more recovered going into those. Not as worried about the recovery on the Tuesday, Wednesday training sessions. But let's get into the questions. Opinions on doing high reps on bench to get a sick chest pump? Yes. Final answer. Seriously, I'm a big fan of sort of very low weight, high rep similar movements to what you did for your working sets. It's pretty common for me. I think you'll see in here, I do this with my Larson Spoto presses. But yeah, I think it's great to get some blood flowing around there. Maybe pick up a couple extra hypertrophies. And, like Arnold said, it feels like I'm coming. That feeling of the blood flowing, engorging your muscles, very similar feeling to the feeling your mom gives me. So yeah, chase that. But seriously, yeah, I'm a big fan of doing that. And your mom. At what point standard do you believe a novice becomes an intermediate and should seriously consider changing their modalities to suit? Okay, so there is no arbitrary number or line in the sand here for when a novice becomes an intermediate. I'll start with that. But as far as changing your training modalities, when your current modalities become ineffective is when you should train them. And for example, say I've preached 5x5 many times. I'm a big fan of 5x5. So say you're starting off benching 150 5x5 and you stall out at 190 5x5. Well, I'm going to tell you just to reset and do it again. So you reset and start at 160 this time, and this time you stall out at 210. Okay, it's still effective. The 5x5s are still working. So let's reset that again. And so this time you reset at 175 and you stall out at 225. That's still pretty effective. You're still adding weight there. So you do it one more time, and this time you start at 185, and let's say you stall out at 230. So you only added 5 pounds to your 5x5. Adding 5 pounds a week. So that took a long time now to only add 5 pounds. At this point, I'm going to tell you that's pretty ineffective. Now's when you look at changing. Do I change my sets? Do I change my reps? Do I change my movement? Maybe I go from, I was doing all touch and go. Maybe I'm going to do all pauses this time. Maybe I'm going to do close grip. Maybe I'm going to do incline bench and go, out in left field. Or maybe I want to do 10s now. Maybe I'm going to start a 3x10 modality and then work my way back into 5x5s. Or maybe I'm going to go to 3s and I'm going to try to peak my 1 rep max strength. But the intermediate novice line, intermediate going into advanced, novice going into intermediate, etc. It's a spectrum. It's not like a fine line in the sand. But as far as training modalities, when they become ineffective, you need to change variables. What those variables are is up to you. Like I said, whether it's sets and reps, whether it's changing the movement pattern, the variations, changing accessories, etc., etc. How do you program pull-ups and chin-ups to increase reps? Currently stuck at 6. Clusters. Clusters are the best thing for pull-ups in my opinion. So if you're stuck at, say, 6 for your top set, or that's the most you can do in one set, is what I'm assuming you're meaning here. Do something like 5 sets of 2. All right, to start out with. Let's start very conservative. Do those doubles extremely aggressively. Put a lot of emphasis on them. And take 1 minute rest in between them. And then after your last double, take 3 minutes and then do an AMRAP set. The following week, do 7 sets of 2 and then an AMRAP. And then after that, do 10 sets of 2 and an AMRAP. All right. And then after you get to those 10 sets of 2 and an AMRAP, I'm going to guess by now that you're probably, that AMRAP might even be getting bigger. Then you reset, and instead of doing sets of 2, do sets of 3, do 5 sets of 3, same thing, cluster, 1 minute rest, and Then take 3 minutes after your last one and do an AMRAP, work your sets up, and rinse and repeat. And then, you'll be up to sets of 4. And before you know it, your one set of 6 is going to turn into, 5 sets of 6, and you'll be able to do a set of 10 on your AMRAP. I'm actually working with a client right now, and pull-ups have been part of what we've been working on. And 3 weeks ago, I just had him do 2 sets to failure. And he got 8 reps on the first set and 7 reps on the second set. Then last week, I had him do 5 sets of 3 with 1 minute rest in between, and then 3 minutes rest on an AMRAP. And he got 9 on his AMRAP, whereas before he couldn't even do 8 fresh. And this is quick turnaround. Results not typical. And then this week, I had him do 6 sets of 3 with 1 minute rest, and then rest 3 minutes and do an AMRAP. And he got 12 on his AMRAP. So not only are we adding volume in the sets, and he's getting more total volume within the sets of 3, that's increasing, but his AMRAPs are also increasing. He added, he went from 8 AMRAP fresh to a 9 AMRAP after doing 5 sets of 3 to a 12 AMRAP after doing 6 sets of 3. So there's especially if you're not super good at pull-ups initially, you can gain a lot quickly, and cluster sets are the way to go. You've probably been asked this before, but if you could hang out for a day and lift with one strength athlete or power lifter, past or present, who would it be and why? Mark Henry, arguably the strongest man ever to walk the earth. And then he's got all the WWE experience, and I'm sure there's plenty of stories from the road and shenanigans that have went on there. So I think that would just make it super interesting. There's only, I can sit here and talk about training a lot, but to hear him speak on, he went to the Olympics, won the Arnold Classic, had the highest total in powerlifting for a long time, just great athlete, and he's got a wealth of life experience. So it'd be Mark Henry easily. Do you like anime, and which one is your favorite? If not, I will proceed to tell everybody in the gym that Larson presses are bad. I'm a casual anime fan. I'm not a full weeb. Dragon Ball Z is my favorite. That's the time I grew up in. We didn't have Crunchyroll and stuff. We had Toonami, so we had to wait for our episodes of Dragon Ball Z to come next week on an all new episode of Dragon Ball Z. I like Initial D. I haven't got to watch the whole series of Initial D yet, but I'm a car guy too, so that kind of plays into both there. I've watched the Baki series on Netflix. I like it pretty good. I've watched Kengan Ashura. What's the other one? The name is eluding me. The one with the gods against the humans. But yeah, I like anime. Just a casual though. Peace.